Okay, welcome to the Lobo podcast. My name is Joey Diaz. I used to do comedy in Chicago before COVID, and I have podcasts where I have comedians and crazy people and talk about my nut life. Anyways, today we have Brian Morton, not Ryan Morton, what I called him when I had one sip of alcohol. He used to be the manager at the Laugh Factory. Now he's the GM at Zanies Old Town, Chicago. I talk about freebasing, not him. We talk about Russian gangs and his time in New York, his time in the Airforce, the dark story, how he got into comedy, his relationship with Joey Diaz. We talk some other comics, Joey Diaz, Tim Dillon, a lot of good comics that we've both seen. So we go into the comedy business, comedy history, his life. The time I lied to a girl and spent a lot of money to go see Morton, and she didn't know that. Well, listen to that one. Anyways, check him out on Instagram at Brian Morton, at Zanies Chicago. Zanies is back open to clean and sanitize, so Zanies Old Town if you want to go see some shows. And please like, subscribe, give me a review. You got any questions for me to answer, DM me. Or you want any stickers? I got Lobo Den stickers. So, all right, here we go, Lobo Den. Okay, welcome to the Lobo Den podcast. Today we have Ryan Borton. What's up, Brian?
Hey, Ryan Borton.
Let's call you Ryan Borton. Dude, Brian brought me booze, right? And as my listeners know, I really don't drink.
Literally, you had one sip. You can't blame that. What the fuck? I filled it up to there.
Whew, I kind of want to party, but this is the only drink I can have.
The only one.
Because the listeners know, they've listened to me, like, I can get out of control. You know what I mean? Like, I've woken up in Kenosha, Fort Grand in Miami. They've heard all the stories. But this is
How are your ribs?
Huh? My ribs are a lot better, dude.
Okay, yeah, because that's all I've heard is that you can't do you can't talk about a certain drug and you can't do a certain drug because of ribs.
I know.
Somebody you know can't do it.
Somebody I know got in a car accident and they figured, hey, you can't snort X drug, right?
You talked about the difference of crack and freebasing too, and
not that much of a difference.
No, well, the one thing is that crack with the baking soda. The reason they do that is because you can sell it in vials easier than powder. So like
you get more out of it, right?
Yeah, of course you spread it more, but like you can sell it in vials, and that was like the biggest thing to move it easier. With like powder, a lot of people, because people want to smoke it, but if you're in a freebase powder, it's way easier to fuck up powder. Like you can spill it and like a lot of shit like that. So people end up doing that more.
And then I didn't want to freebase, well, in general, right? But freebasing, I was always scared of it because of Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Because allegedly, well, at first Richard Pryor said that he was freebasing and set himself on fire trying to freebase, but later in life he admitted, or he said, "No, I wasn't freebase. It wasn't it. He was it was actually like a suicide attempt."
Yeah, he tried to kill himself. Yeah, but still, like freebasing is, I think, more addictive if you smoke it. That's what I've heard.
I don't know. I talked to him, right, and he was like, "Yeah, but this particular person doesn't have an addictive personality towards that drug."
Yeah,
like this one, right? He doesn't. He's booze will get him, right?
Yeah.
But he can honestly, like, his friend called. He's like, "Luke, did you really wake up in the morning, make coffee, freebase, and then have like?" Because it's funny, because he woke up, he had coffee, he based a little, right? All right, because his friends called him crackhead.
Why do both?
The coffee, he slowly had it throughout, and actually that coffee, he barely probably finished it today.
I feel like you don't need both of those things.
No, but so once he did that, he chilled out, didn't have the coffee too much, but it was made because it's like he just bought a French press, right? So he's excited about making his coffee, because it was more of the ritual. He made the coffee, he based, but then he got oregano oil, had a drop of oregano oil, and some vitamin D, right? So he was telling him, like, well, life is a balance, right? Life is a balance, but
that does sound healthy.
It does,
yeah, it does. That's what that's the picture of health.
But the people who have done these drugs and they can't handle them, don't. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I think it's a rare case. It's a rare case.
Yeah, well,
I think
a lot of times people balance alcohol with it.
Oh,
so when they balance alcohol with it, that's like. But then when you start smoking it, that's where it just it goes hard.
You see how that dropped? That reminded me when I went to who was it? Older guy, Jewish guy. When I went to Zanies to go see Pitbull the comedy.
Oh, Bobby Slayton.
Okay, Bobby Slayton. Anyways, by the way, for listeners, Brian Morton is the GM at Zanies.
I didn't know he's Jewish.
Huh?
He's Jewish?
Yeah, he's Jewish as hell.
I don't know.
You were zoning out. Well, now because you got to see the same people over and over again, right? You can't.
I mean, I've seen Bobby Slayton like 3 times. I just don't remember the Jewish part.
Yeah, I think he was talking about Palm Springs.
You ever seen his daughter?
No.
Pull up Bobby Slayton's daughter. She's
she better be
she's
hideous
a
or
singer.
hot as fuck.
She's a singer, right? She was in like I think the original Pussycat Dolls back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe get a different one here. There's a plastic
put
one.
That on that side in case it spills. Like all the way on the end there.
Huh?
Put a couple.
Pull up Natasha Slayton. Pull up the picture of her.
I think I'm drunk.
Already?
I don't know.
Just fucking. It's literally one sip. Yeah, that's his daughter.
No manches way.
That's her.
Yeah, she's. I think you type in her name like Natasha Slayton, it'll come up. She's like a singer and shit though. I mean,
for the listeners,
the
she has
mom
blonde hair. Her breasts are sticking out.
That's like I think that's like a other. She had brown hair
wait a
forever.
second.
Yeah.
Let's see this one. Go to image. So I'm going to describe the listener. So Natasha Slayton.
Click on that second one.
Oh, she's cute.
Yeah.
She's hot.
Yeah.
And she's a singer?
Yeah, like I think she was in like the original Pussycat Dolls or like one of those like all women groups that was like put together kind of thing, you know, by a record label.
Weren't they she's hot. Oh, and she's brunette. And then Jewish. I love, man, growing up, like quick side note, I used to be like obsessed with Jewish princesses.
You're just hanging out in Skokie all day.
Highland Park.
Yeah.
Caddied. I was a caddy. I worked in Highland Park since I was 16 years old. I was a caddy my whole life. So
Yeah.
I would see the Jewish princesses and their weddings and stuff, carrying the golf bags for their dads.
Right.
And it's like one day, but yeah, I used to be.
My dad's side of the family is Jewish.
Oh, Jewish?
Yeah. So like, but I didn't grow up with my dad, so I grew up Catholic. But yeah, my dad's I have 2 brothers and 3 sisters, and they're all Jewish.
But what I was saying is, you are the manager, the GM at Zanies, right? You're the GM at Zanies. And when I was dropping this earlier, it reminded me when Eric Pinnell, and my friend went to go see Bobby Slayton at Zanies, and I had a few drinks. And I remember my glass from here to here, it fell in the whole and it broke the whole glass. And then Eric freaked out because he knows I really don't drink, and I had like a few drinks, and he got us a shot, and Eric's like, oh my god, and I was like, he's like, oh my god, Javion's gonna go off the rails today, but I didn't, you know what I mean?
Kept it together.
Yeah, because I was like, look, I'm not that drunk. I was a little bit buzzed, but I wasn't.
I don't remember you dropping a glass. I'm sure it happened.
Yeah,
it wasn't a big deal if I don't remember.
Oh yeah, the waitress came, and I was like, hope Brian doesn't come. And then because then Eric gave me his shot because he didn't want to drink too much. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, my wife, I don't want any Ubers and stuff. So then I had his shot. So then it was quicker than I was used to. But then after that, I chilled out, and then we watched. This is the night those people walked out on Bobby, like the millennials.
It was like half the crowd. Yeah, but you know what he did is that was the first set he did. It was like maybe the late night or the early. I can't remember which one you went to, but it was like the first or second set he did. And when that happened, like, a lot of younger people walked out. So the rest of the weekend, he switched his whole setup, and he went fucking super hard out the gate. And like, he's like, if you don't like me, then
get out now.
Yeah, you're going to leave now. And he like tore into everybody like within the first 10 minutes. And it was a lot better the rest of the weekend. No, we had, I think like a couple other people did walk out, but you're going to expect that. Like,
yeah.
I've seen people walk out like of Stanhope shows and like all sorts of shit. Like people walk out of shows, like shit happens.
You know what? Well, I've never seen anybody walk out of DePaulo, but I think most of the people know what they're getting to. Right? DePaulo.
Yeah,
he has a following now.
He also, he doesn't really do like weekends anymore like that anymore. He does like a night, like in certain places, maybe 2 at the most. But yeah, he doesn't. He used to go for long stretches, so then you get more of the people that aren't your fans. But then when you're only doing one night, it's going to be your fans.
Dude, that was one of my favorite nights. It was before you were at Zanies at Old Town. I went to go see DePaulo.
Yeah,
and he sold out Old Town in that little room. Him selling out, and he was crushing. So crushing in that little room. I just remember just sitting there, and it was just like.
I've only seen him at the Cellar. I've never gone to like seen a headline set from him.
I've seen a headline set at Rosemont twice. And then I seen him.
It's just that whole fucking crew, dude. Anybody from Boston, like from that era in Boston, usually are just killers. Like they're all fucking great.
What's a documentary? I'll give it out to the comedy fan listeners. The people of comedy. No, that's your network.
It's when stand up stood out.
When stand up stood out, right? Yeah. That's a great documentary about that the whole Boston scene. Them and then
it's all about Barry Crimmins too. Like he like started the Ding Ho, and he passed away a couple years ago. But he's actually from where I'm from in upstate New York. Like we grew up pretty close to each other.
Where are you from?
I'm from like outside of, it's like Utica. It's
okay.
Called. Yeah, it's like 3.5 hours north of the city. It's
okay. Isn't that where
it's near Syracuse?
What's his name? The principal from The Simpsons is from.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah. No, there's also like a Dunder Mifflin there.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know.
like a real Dunder Mifflin?
No, but I've never seen The Office, but I know that everybody says
there's like the Utica.
Yeah, they always like they're
branch.
like the Utica branch all the time. That's like a thing that they say. The thing that's like, actually, I know that you know guns a little bit. So
a lot.
Remington Arms is in my hometown.
Ooh.
So that's like the original factory's there. Now most of it, I think it's like going to shut down, but it started there and it's in North Carolina. For the most
Or
part,
Tennessee. Something like that.
So, but yeah, it started like, and that's the only like shit where I'm from. Like everybody leaves high school and they usually go and do that for the most part, or did. I don't know what's gonna happen if that place leaves. Like it's already fucking bad there. Like it got ranked like the town that's like next to me got ranked the 4th worst place in New York State.
New York State.
Yeah.
Is that why you went to the Air Force?
For like crime.
Why'd you go to the Air Force? You're in the Air Force.
Yeah, but before that I moved to New York City. When I got out of high school I moved like right to New York City because I wanted to do music producing. So I went to an audio engineering school and I ended up dropping out after like 9 months. And then I went back home, got into a fight.
18?
Yeah, I was like, 18, 19, something like that. I got into a fight when I was back home, got beat up pretty bad, went to the hospital.
What you get in a fight with?
That's a long story. I don't
okay,
want to go to
that's fine. Got in a fight, beat up.
Got in a fight, beat up, and I had a pretty big hospital bill and shit. And like, I didn't want to like be there anymore, like where I was. And it was just, I needed to get out. So I had already like thought about going in the Marines before that, like, cause
hoorah.
There's just nothing to do like where I'm from. Like there's not a lot of jobs and shit. So at like 16, I was like thinking about going to the Marines and I didn't end up doing that, but I had told them that I get migraines, right? So migraines, you can't go into the military if you get migraines. So I had migraines like my whole life growing up, but I knew a doctor and he like said that I don't get migraines anymore. So they let me into the Air Force like that. And I went to the Air Force because I knew it was the easiest one. So I was like, I'm not gonna like go to the fucking hardest thing. I need to get away. I want to travel the world.
Was your way out?
Pay some bills. Yeah, like and fucking. I did. It was good, man. Like I went to Texas first, and then from Texas I went to Germany, and I lived in Germany for 2 years. And then while I was there, I lived in Qatar. I lived in Romania.
You were a cop, right, or a military MP?
Yeah.
What's the difference as an MP? The same as a civilian cop, or is it a big difference?
It's a big. Well, sort of. So I was security forces.
Okay.
And so there's 2 sections of that. It's like you can do either security or you can be like a police officer. So I was lucky and I ended up doing all police side. So that's like, to me, it's more fun. Like security, you can like go sit at a base forever and just like guard a fucking missile for 16 hours. You just, sometimes some people go out for like a fucking week into the field and they like sleep there and like it sucks. They're in like the middle of fucking Montana and shit. Like there's just nothing to do. So I ended up getting the cop side and that was cool because I got to move around more and I did a lot of cool shit. But I didn't choose, like, it was literally one of the only things that I could do.
Well, you took your test, right? You take the test and they give you some options.
Yeah, and I scored pretty high. I scored an 82, which is like pretty high in the SVAT. And
there it is. Yeah.
But I admitted to smoking weed too many times.
How'd you? Were you a naive kid or what?
It fucked me over. Like I didn't know. Like they told me it wasn't gonna matter. They're like, you could have smoked weed. Like it doesn't matter. Just so when she
like those
asked
applications when you start a job, and I was like, have you ever stolen from a job? But
they told me like weed is the one that doesn't matter. So you can say that you smoked weed. And I was like, okay, because like I weed, like, yeah, it is what it is. You know, now it's legal. So finally, but I said, they asked me how many times I smoked, and I was like, I don't know. And the recruiter's like, 1 time. I was like, more. They're like, 5 times. I was like, more. They're like, 10 times. I was like,
today.
I was like, more. So then they're like, okay, we're gonna write 10 times. Just always remember that number. But I didn't know that.
Why I always remember that number?
Because they ask you multiple times while you're in how many times like you smoked weed, basically. So like 10 isn't. That's what they told me to remember. So I did. So I didn't know that I had to give a drug test like my first time going to MAPS. My recruiter didn't tell me. So
MAPS is what, the training, or
that's like where you go do all your like blood work, you get a physical, like they like you do all your information, like they take you and they do everything. But
this is before basic?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's before you go away. So like and then you get your date for basic after that. Okay. So I didn't know that I had to take a drug test, which is like naive. I was really naive going into this whole thing. Like I didn't research it at all. It was just like, I wanted to get the fuck away. So they were like, on my way up, they asked me if I was ready to take a drug test, and I was like, no. And they're like, well, when's the last time you smoked weed? I was like, 2 weeks ago. So they turned the car around and they went back to the recruiting center. And like, it was one of those recruiting centers where there was an Air Force, Marines, Army, Navy, all that
together. By the Jewel at my house. Yep.
Right. It was next to a grocery store. So fucking, I went to the Marine guy and he had a drug test. So I took it and I failed.
Okay.
So she was like, the recruiter's like, we're going to tell him that your grandfather got into a car accident in Virginia and you couldn't make the appointment. So that's what we did. And she got caught on it. So
the recruiter.
Yeah. So it delayed my enlistment 45 days, before I could go back to MEPS. So it was just longer that I was home, which I was. You
were living with your mom?
Yeah.
Stepdad, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, so I was ready to fucking get the fuck out of there. And yeah, I went in and eventually they let me in. But the thing about the ASFAB is that with the score I got, if you admitted to smoking weed or it was within a certain amount of time before, it eliminated a shit ton of jobs you could get. So I wanted to be a biomedical engineer. That was the thing that I got it was at the top of my list, but it eliminated everything that I could do. So I had 5 jobs left and one of them was a cop and that one left the quickest. So if I didn't,
you just wanted to get out.
Yeah. If I didn't take that one, I would have to wait another year in the delayed enlistment program because there was not a lot of openings going in, but for cop there was, which is the fucking infantry of the Air Force basically.
Okay.
So it's it's a lot of action. You do a lot of shit. I didn't love being a cop. It's not my persona. It is what it is. I think in the entire time I wrote 3 tickets in 4 years just because I wasn't.
What are these tickets? People staying out late? Fights? People fights?
Yeah, I did a lot of fights in Germany. That was because we teamed up with the Polizei and we would walk the streets during the
what's that? The
German police.
Okay.
Yeah, so we would team up with them and we would walk the streets because in Kaiserslautern there's 50,000 Americans. So I worked night shift and on Fridays and Saturdays. I was, at this point I was 200 pounds, 6 feet, just all fucking muscle because I was working out all the time. And
specimen.
Yeah. And they would have me go and then we'd have all the big people walk the streets and it's a layover stop from Iraq and Afghanistan. So all the army people come back and it's their first time drinking in 18 months.
Okay. And
they all have PTSD. So they're all just getting fucked up and either crying or fighting or doing it's intense, because they have a 4-day layover there. And sometimes that's also where the hospital is. So the Landstuhl has the big hospital there. So they'll come back people that are fucked up and then then they'll end up going out in the town on the weekend. So we would have to deal with a lot of Americans that way, which sucks. But they'd get in fights with, there's a lot of Turkish and Russians. So they'd get in fights with the
Russians,
Turkish,
of course. Right.
And the Turkish people. Dude, Russians are savages.
Insane, right?
Dude. They're the best fighters in the world.
They're the insanest white people in the world, right? The most savage.
Yeah. Fucking Khabib from Dagestan, that whole area is just insane. They're the toughest fucking people. And I heard actually Daniel Cormier, he is a fighter.
He's not Russian.
No, but he was talking about this day. He said one time at the World Wrestling Championships, the biggest event in the world, the Russians took first in 6 out of the 7 places against everybody in the world. Which is they're just they're a different breed of people.
Yeah, they're insane. And at that time, they were getting shot up, right?
Yeah, I grew up.
There's a whole documentary, right, where the whole Russian team was.
Dude, there was a whole Russian mob where I'm from. It was wild.
In Germany, right? Not in Utica.
No, in Utica.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
the tattoos and everything?
Not like that, but they're all the families, dude. They would always steal your fucking stereos out of your car, dude. They would fight. Dude, one time they showed up to a fight, probably a lot of people fought where I'm from. It's very common to fight. So they showed up to a party in the woods once because one of their guys came to the party in the woods and these kids that were there jumped him, beat the fuck out of him. So he left and then he went back. Dude, they came back they all had fucking rice burners, fucking Honda Civics and CRXs, but with exhaust. So you hear this just
Toyota MR2.
Dude, you hear it a mile fucking away. MR2 is one of my favorite cars. You'd hear it that shit a mile away and they'd fucking be cruising up. And then I heard this shit coming. So I dipped and I was with this girl and we were hiding and watching them all walk into the woods, where the party was. And there was probably 30 of them with bats and all sorts of shit, and we fucking bounced. And I went home. I ran home, and I was like, Mom, we got to go back up there because I think people got out of the hospital. So like my mom drove us back up, and my buddy Tony, I saw him like walking out and shit. He's like holding his arm. He got hit with a bat real bad, dude.
How old were you?
I was like 17,
okay.
18, something like that. And like, yeah, I had to like bring him to the hospital and shit. Like, it was wild, man. Russians, those guys are savages.
What's his name? Fedor's brother, right? Didn't he go to jail for like?
Yeah, he's got like a crazy story.
Yeah, he has a whole. What's that movie with the Russians? Not the Russian, but is it The History of Violence or something? Or am I making things up now?
I don't know.
I might be making things up, dude.
A History of Violence, I think, is about Brooklyn, right?
Okay, yeah, I'm way off. I don't know what I'm talking about, but
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah. So I went in the military.
But that actor is in a movie where I think he's a. Am I making things up? James, I think so.
Probably.
Yeah.
I went to Romania for like a month, Qatar for like 6 months. And then like when I was in Europe, I got to travel all over. So then after that, I was supposed to go to Italy. They fucked up my orders. So I ended up getting sent to Ohio. So like if you ever
We're in Ohio. Where's the base?
Dayton.
Oh, okay.
Which like is like the worst in Ohio. That's like the worst city to live in Ohio. So
what's in Dayton? Anything?
The Air Force Base.
Okay. Like I know there's some golf courses.
There's, University of Dayton, okay. Like Wright University. That's where the Wright brothers are from. So like, there's
Kitty Hawk.
But like, I mean, the place is just fucking. It's run down. Like, they're great people and shit. Like, it was a fun time, but you know, you want to get out. So I came to Chicago for the first time because I was there.
So you went from Dayton and you're Chicago.
I came to visit, and like I went to a concert and shit, and I just fell in love.
Who'd you go see?
311 and Ziggy Marley.
Hey, 311, dude.
Yeah,
I had one of their albums. Come Original, right? Is that 311?
Yeah,
all right, 311.
I had that album too. It was like 2009. You know what's crazy is I wasn't like a big fan of them. After I saw them, I was like, oh,
Are
shit.
they ska?
I don't know. They're like somewhere. No, it's ska because they don't have horns. So it's like they're like this like rap rock like fucking like sublime-ish. I don't know.
Because one of my first concert I think I ever went to was at the Allstate Arena. What's the name with that white lady who dated the Indian? No doubt was my first.
Bro, that's what you went for Gwen Stefani? The white lady that dated the Indian?
Well, the best album they ever had was about their breakup with
dated
the Indian.
Gavin Rossdale and Blake Shelton, dude. Like, like way bigger people than the guy that she was in the band with.
If she didn't get dumped by the Indian and make a masterpiece of an album, right? You know what I mean? Will you know who she is?
I think her brother wrote most of the songs.
Oh,
like
really?
Her brother's in
That
the band. And he wrote like a lot of the songs.
Lying.
Oh my god.
She actually like especially when she went solo, she didn't write a ton of her music.
No, she got lazy.
No, it's not lazy. It's just like you have like expectations from your record company. If somebody, I'm sure she like helped write shit, but like if somebody's gonna come in and they have like, there's this guy. I think his name's David Foster. Like I think that's his name, David Foster. Like look him up. Drake just rapped about him, and he look up David Foster like fucking Wikipedia. This dude, I think he has like, I don't know, 100 nominations, and like he's got so many Grammys, it's like insane. He's written like every song for everybody. Look, I think you could scroll down to like awards.
He looks like he orders from Wayfair.
He's got like an insane catalog of people he's worked with and awards. It's like, it's wild.
Collaborations. Oh yeah, look at that.
But it's everybody. Rod Stewart. It goes for years. But then you look
Bo
up
Diddley, whoa!
But everybody, and then he's got
Footloose.
I think he has the most awards on like anybody ever.
Alice Cooper.
So it's like people like Gwen Stefani, they're going to bring in these amazing songwriters that are just
Michael Bublé. He's Canadian, I'm pretty sure.
Is he? So is Celine Dion. Everybody's because this dude's Canadian.
Look at Seal, Michael Bublé again. Oh, that's why. Barbara Streisand. Whoa. Michael Bublé again.
Scroll down to awards and nominations. What's that?
Bryan Adams, Canadian.
I don't know if there's like a thing that says how many awards. You can maybe like Google how many awards. Wait, won 16 Grammy Awards, and he's been
nominated for a total of 47 times.
That's fucking crazy. And this is just one dude. So it's people like that like, you know, Gwen Stefani's gonna fucking get with. Anytime you're a big artist, that's what you want to do. Like, it's hard. Like, a lot of people don't write their own shit. Even Beyonce, like,
I don't know. But anyways, you left. You came to Chicago. You saw 311, right?
Yeah.
And then where'd you go from? That's something. Then you went to culinary school when you came here. You decided to move.
Yeah,
what made you stay in Chicago? You saw the concert and you're like, just because Ohio just sucked so much, or
well, like because I lived in New York City, so like I loved the city aspect, and I came to Chicago, and I was here. I went to Northern Ireland for the concert, and it's just like that's like a beautiful venue, and like it's on the water. It was the middle of June, so I was just like, this is fucking great, like. And I started to come up here all the time. I was seeing this girl that I met like the second night I was here, and then
Puerto Rican.
No, she's fuck, I'm gonna fuck it up. Never mind.
Okay, not Puerto Rican.
I want to say she's Palestinian, but I don't know if I'm right. And she probably is gonna listen to this and fucking hate me that I don't know it.
I'm sure she'll hate me more. That's fine.
But
I'll be the heel.
Yeah, so I like hung out with her for a while, and then like we dated, and I decided to move up here anyway. Like I was like, I want to come here for school, so. And I like to cook, so I went to culinary school and paid for it like through the military.
Okay, Kendall, right? My buddy went to Kendall.
Yeah, I went to Le Cordon Bleu first. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Did you ever go? Just quick side note. Did you ever eat at Sarkey's when you were at Kendall? That breakfast place in Evanston? Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I haven't. I've been there. I went there with a girl once.
Oh, okay.
For breakfast. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite spots. One of my favorite sandwiches, Sarkey's in Evanston or Skokie or whatever it
Everybody goes there for like lunch and breakfast and shit. Like,
breakfast, dude. Yeah. I get like a bacon Loretta.
But yeah, they go for breakfast, but they're open for lunch and shit like at the same time. So everybody eats the breakfast, you know.
And then wait, you told me before we started how you got into comedy was a little bit of a dark story. Is that what you said? Or
yeah. So like, all right, I'll go through the whole story. My dad, my real father.
Your real dad, right?
My real father.
He was gone before you were born, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was gone before I was born. And I met him at 17, but my stepdad came into my life at like 6, and he raised me. So like my stepdad was like my dad, basically, you know. And in 2009, he took his own life, and he did it in front of my mom. So my mom kind of like went through a lot too, you know. And
how old were you?
I was 23.
Okay.
Yeah. I was still in the military. And so that was like a part of the reason I got out too, because I was just like kind of weighing my odds, and I'm like, what happens if I go? Like, it's just gonna be real tough on my mom. Like, that shit's rough. So yeah, like I got out. But anyway, so when he passed away, I had to go back. I was training in Vegas. I was supposed to go to Afghanistan. I was supposed to go, Afghanistan, because the second time I was supposed to go to Iraq, or maybe it was Iraq. I can't remember. I think Iraq first, then Afghanistan second. So I was supposed to go to Iraq, and they pulled me off the deployment, and I was just like in a fucked up spot. So I started. I was hanging out with my roommates, and
you found out you were overseas when you found out?
No, I was in Vegas.
Oh,
I was training in Vegas to go overseas. I was supposed to leave in like 4 weeks to go overseas. And I'd been to Vegas. I've been in Vegas like probably 2.5 weeks at that point. And so I go back to Ohio after like going to New York for a while, and I started watching comedy with my roommates. Like we would watch like fucking Seth Rogen movies were popping at that time, so we'd watch a lot of that. But then I rented Louis C.K.'s Shameless. I think it was his first HBO special. Is it Chewed Up or Shame? I think it's.
I'm bad with the numbers.
It's the one that came.
I think I've seen all of them except for the new one.
It's the one that came out in 2006, and I rented that, and I rented Joe Rogan Live, which is like his first Netflix special. Like, but it was on DVD. It was like when Netflix was DVD.
Mm-hmm.
So like he had like one of the first Netflix specials, but I just happened to rent those, and this is 2009. So like Rogan's podcast didn't start till 2010. So it was the beginning of like February or March when I rented it. And I got like super into Joe Rogan and Louis. So like through that, I got into Opie and Anthony. So that like just got me hooked to stand up like way more. Like before that, I like Dan Cook. Like I'd watch some stand up, like Mitch Hedberg, like people that, but I wasn't like invested. And then the radio show of Opie and Anthony got me invested in the like people in stand up, in the culture.
And for people who don't know, O&A had like Patrice, Nick DePaul, had all those East Coast guys
Jim
on there.
Norton,
and it was
Rogan
the first hang. Rogan,
Louis
Jim
CK,
Norton,
like
all those Rich Voss. It was all those East Coast guys. It was like a hang.
Bobby
so all
Kelly,
the comics. So and it wasn't like the regular. You know, man, hey, tell us your bit. You know what I mean? It was like a hang. It was like the first hang.
Yeah, it was like a 4-hour fucking hang. And
almost like a hang
podcast. I would just like listen to that, and that was like therapy for me. Like I would just get away from like all the shit that was going on. Like
with the puppet.
Yeah, Otto and George.
Otto and George, right?
Yeah.
If people don't know Otto and George, look him up. He's I love Otto and George.
Yeah.
He had an actual crack problem, not like my friend. Rest in peace, Otto.
Yeah.
He was a crackhead.
Yeah, he was.
And one more thing with that funny story.
At one point in his life.
Did you hear that? There's Artie Lang in his new podcast that I don't think he's doing right now. I think he might be unclean. Yeah, but there's a story with him and Otto and George where they do the show together. But it's very hilarious. I'll try to find it and look it up. But
I've seen Artie. So I've seen Artie a few times, and the first time I saw him was his first set back in New York after he tried to kill himself. This last time, and then
this last time.
No, the first time when he stabbed himself a bunch of times.
Oh, okay.
So it was his first set after that, and he destroyed. And then I've seen him at the Cellar, and then I saw him somewhere else. But I went to his podcast once, and I got to watch it live, which is really cool.
The current one, right?
No, his old one with Kumia. When
okay.
It was the Artie and Anthony show.
So that was after him and DePaulo had the. Because they were on Dish.
He was fucked up. He had the fucked up nose. I got a good picture with it. It's
I wouldn't tell. Who's one of I don't know. I don't want to say one of your favorites you've seen, but it's basically one of your favorites you got to see
stand up wise
live, right? You didn't expect.
I didn't expect them to be.
Or even if you didn't expect one of your favorites you've seen.
Joey Diaz is my favorite comic.
Okay.
He's great. The first time I saw him was 2010. It's just.
Was that at the Ortiz show? No, you saw him before that, right?
Yeah, I saw him a time before that.
You saw him in New York, right? No.
Yeah,
Where's
in Rochester, New York was the first time I saw him. Yeah.
So that's when he was in Rochester. That's 3 hours from your house, right? That's when you drove out with your friends. That's when you met him, right?
Yeah.
Because you and Joey are buddies.
Yeah.
Or buddies, right?
Yeah.
Where'd you see him before that?
That was the first place I saw him. Oh, I'd seen him.
But you knew about him.
I saw him on Rogan.
Okay.
And that was the first year of Rogan, which he just got in trouble for. It was from that era.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember. I had a female friend send me that clip, and that's I remember hearing it, dude. I remember because I was in it from the beginning.
And this is a thing about Joey is and I think that for a lot of people, I think you should be able to show your mistakes and show how you've changed your life and come back from it. Everybody fucks up, man. We're fucking human. So even if he was the most fucked up individual, if he's on a different path now and he's inspiring people, and to me that, he is why I'm involved in Chicago comedy more. He is a great guy, you know what I'm saying? So I can only judge what he's been to me, and what he's been to me since he's changed his life is awesome. And from everybody that I've ever heard, it's the same thing. Yeah. So he might talk about shit that he's done and he's fucked up. The guy kidnapped somebody.
I was going to say he kidnapped people. You know what I mean?
It's shit's fucked up, but people, what they are today, what they show me today, that's what I look at. And that he's always shown me the best side of him. He's a great fucking person. He calls me and he
only calls, right? Doesn't text.
Now he texts now, which is cool. Because I hate talking on the phone, but
really,
yeah. Well, especially with him,
how old are you?
I get fucking anxious. I'm 34.
Oh, okay. You're a little younger than me. I'm a talker, but I drive a lot. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't mind it, but if I have to do it, I will. But with him especially, I'll get anxious because he's my favorite comedian. So even though we're friends still, it's kind of a fucking thing, to talk to him because but it's always great, it's just, but you get anxious,
And he's the same Joey you hear on the podcast, right? Was on the phone, right?
Yeah. Well, he's never flipped out about anything on the phone with me.
He's never had a ranch dressing.
He's never, he's very level. He'll tell me some shit that's made him upset or whatever, he has before. But it's very a level. He's I can ask him anything. He's given me a lot of fucking advice on things. He's a smart person when it comes to the business of comedy because he dealt with the wrong, the shit side of it for so long that now that he's finally making money on this side of it, he is just open and willing to tell you everything he knows about it, which is very nice, especially when you maintain a trust with him. It's cool.
Yeah. When James was laughing at was it ranch dressing? Yeah. There's 2 of them that I love. Ranch dressing. There's rants. I'll look them up. Actually, there's 3 Joey moments I love. Joey ranch dressing when he's he goes into people. Wings. Wait, hold on a second. Yeah. How do you eat wings?
Yeah,
how do you eat your wings?
I honestly, of course, it's going to be blue cheese.
Because you're from New York.
Upstate New York. I don't even really do it with blue cheese much. I will, but it's not I usually just do it with whatever sauces. I actually like a medium barbecue mix
to dip your wings in.
No, that comes pre
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't yell at my mom the other day for having only ranch because she got Wingstop and there was only only ranch.
See, like where I grew up too, we didn't have wing places. You got pizza and wings together always. So it's like you get a large pie and 50 wings, or a large pie and 25 wings. So, or like a certain pounds, large pie and 5 pounds of wings, or 10 pounds of wings. So,
and then the other one he had, so it was the ring one. The other one is, I can't find this one. I try to look it up every once in a while. It's the one where he's going in on Jerry Seinfeld about the sock, the joke. Do you remember that?
yeah.
Like Jerry Seinfeld has a joke about where he loses a sock or whatever, and I forget what he's like. He said, "Freaking sock," or not freaking. I'm going into fucking.
Did you hear him do the COVID one where he was talking about COVID the other day?
No, I didn't hear that one.
He's talking about getting a test. Can you pull that up? Joey Diaz talking about why he doesn't want a COVID test.
Oh, is that the dust?
Yeah.
Three people have sent me that.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, 3 people have sent me that.
Yeah.
This particular clip right now. I don't know. I used to talk about how I used to do coke on this podcast.
Test positive? How come?
There's a limit.
There's a limit. One hit is
For
okay.
bagels, little things. So there's a little bit of a limit. I was
Bagels?
lifting weights and I was running in Boulder
Bagels.
Creek.
Oh, you mean like
Poppy seed.
poppy seed? Right. Tell people about that because they don't know what you're
So
talking
there's
about.
when you do drug tests, no more. Now that you got the hair.
This is a
They
Seinfeld
don't
episode.
fuck around with the hair. Or,
They just take your
Elaine
hair
fell
and
for
they
poppy
get-
seeds.
find out from
I'll
that.
tell you what I don't like is these fucking COVID tests. The one with the nose.
Oh
Like-
my God, what a weird feeling.
You know, here's the funny thing. Like I did it, but I got the blood.
is the,
I didn't trust. Listen. Let me
The
explain
fight
something to you.
companion.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fight
Yeah,
companion
yeah.
from last week or from
Well,
Final.
what
Listen,
I got angel dust, coke, THC crystal, animal tranquilizers, asshole dust, fucking pubic hairs. I smelled Newark in the summer. What haven't I smelled? Coke, heroin, fucking. Are you kidding me? When they did my nose, I remember asshole dust. You know, open up an asshole, a little bit of dust comes out. Nobody knows nothing. You just take it like a man. Like, you know, I remember when I woke up, Dr. Line was jizzling my nose and the sparks were coming out of my nose and shit. I still got coke rocks in those glands in there. So you stick a cotton swab in there and they're gonna fuck it up because you know they're making mistakes.
That's good.
Right?
That's good.
So some grandmother's gonna go,
Yeah, my favorite part about that is he goes, I smelled Newark in the summer. Like that to me is so funny because the fucking dump, like
Yeah, people are in Newark is a city in New Jersey, right?
yeah, it's right outside of New York City. It's just like famous for the dump, and like it's that to me is the funniest part. He's so stupid. He's such a fool. Like he's like when he goes off, and you know I've seen him crush and do amazing, especially when he's comfortable. When he's like sometimes like I think like filming for TV, he just like
He gets like
nervous
in writing
head.
like a different mode. He talked about that, right?
Yeah.
Like the first special.
Well, I went and saw it in Zanies and Rosemont's where he shot it. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't like the bad. You know, I brought like people to see him and shit, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And but I was like, "No, like," but I've seen him so many times. He's a fucking beast. He's so funny. But like, I love fucking Attell, like Chappelle. There's dude, Janelle James to me is like, well, I think Janelle James is like one of the funniest fucking people ever. Like,
She's from Chicago. She left and she started a festival, right?
She's from one of the islands, but then she lived in Peoria for a long time, and then
Another one,
yeah,
Richard Pryor, Peoria.
Yeah. She's a fucking beast. Like, especially like when she gets going and like she's doing a shit ton of sets, like she's great. She's open for everybody, like Chris Rock, Chappelle, like fucking Hannibal.
Is there somebody I have one I didn't get to see was I think I've seen every on my bucket list I want to see live except for Patrice, right? Is there one you didn't get to see that we lost before? Because Patrice is the only one that I didn't. I finally just got to see Louis,
Yeah.
right, when he went to Rosemont.
Yeah.
And then because I remember a long years ago, right? A friend, somebody at work knew I was into comedy. She's like, "Oh, Louis C.K.'s coming to Milwaukee. You should go get him." I looked at the tickets. I was like, "Nah, I'll just see him when he comes in town next time."
There's nobody that's dead that I'd want to see. I guess Richard Jeni would be somebody I've heard a lot about that I'd like to see live. But that was like almost before my time of like. But there, like I really want to see Jay Leno.
Me too.
He's like one of the people that I've never seen that I like. Yeah.
If people don't know, Jay, I think I don't know if he still does this, but he lives off his stand-up money, right? So the whole time he was doing the Tonight Show, he wouldn't spend any of the money, right?
Well, he didn't have to, man. Like you're making so much money, bro. Like this guy's doing corporate gigs, and he's making $250K
and he does the same.
a night,
He does the same the set all the time, right?
No, he has different sets, and he just has a shit ton of material. He has like I think like 10 to 12 hours of material, and he depending on where he is, he adjusts it. You know, like he has a lot of different material. So if you go see him different places, he adjusts the material. Like, he'll do a lot of material about the place that he's in.
Okay.
He has a lot of that. And he's a professional. So he definitely has a lot. He just doesn't want to record it because he feels like you're selling the act that way, and you can't do those.
The act, that's what he says.
You can't tell that it's jokes anymore. So like, even though you have 10 hours of material, he doesn't need to, like, he was on TV every fucking night. He doesn't need to have a special, you know? I think like people like that, they look at it like that, you know, even though a lot of times the people just don't do stand-up anymore once they get to that level, but he still did, because stand-up is like his first thing.
Yeah, every Sunday he would run the jokes for the monologue at the Comedy Magic Club.
He still does. Yeah, he still performs there every Sunday.
Sunday.
Like, yeah, he does 2 shows there every Sunday.
It's in Hermosa Beach, I think, California, right? Yeah, every Sunday he does the comedy. That's where
I like that you're like an actual comedy fan.
Oh yeah, you know, I was a big comedy fan before.
Because like, even though like comedians do know some stuff about comedy, like the fact that you know that Jay Leno does the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa is like, that's like a deep cut.
I forget. Well, you remember this scene? I don't know if it's iComic. I forget which documentary, but that's when him, Gary Shandling, and I think Seinfeld, they're having the argument in that.
I don't
scene.
think I've seen I Am Comic.
I think I Am Comic.
Maybe I've seen it, but it was a long time ago. I'm like the worst. Like I only knew when stand up stood out because I just watched it maybe like a year ago for the first time because I could never find it before, and now it's on YouTube. But yeah, like a lot of shit. Like I don't really watch specials much.
I don't watch specials when I started doing stand up because we see. I feel like we see it so much. See a lot of and me, you know, I was still kind of mostly open micing some shows, so I'm seeing a lot of open mic comedy. Yeah, right? At least you get to see good people.
I watch like if my friends have a special, like if my friends have a half hour or an hour, like something that I'm like that I am close with, then I'll watch their shit for the most part. But like a lot of times, I don't know. I'm
gonna compliment you, right? You used to did you used to cut those videos that you would release of like interviews and things like that? You would put them on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
This is one that I watched that I don't know if you put it up. You might have not put it up, but now I don't even know why I'm. It was when I think you did share the link when Fat Dude died, right?
Ralphie May.
Yeah.
He's talking about don't shit where you eat.
Well, the scene. Well, I watched the whole thing he had at the Comedy Store. I watched that whole thing, and one of the things I got from him was one of the things he said was, "I'm wearing a hat right now, but this is a podcast, so." But he said, "Don't wear a hat." I remember he said, "Don't wear a hat. If you wear a hat, your eyebrows, people aren't going to see your expressions and other things like that." I mean, I watched the whole thing, and I remember, and I stopped wearing a hat after that, and that was my thing. And I felt I used it as a crutch. I had a look. I had a backwards hat and I had a spit, but when I saw that, I took it off. And recently, like in the last year, I've watched certain comics, and it's like, oh, they're wearing the hat, but it's depending where they put it. It's like, oh, you can't see
like,
certain
depending
expressions.
on the hat, you know, like because Patrice would wear hats and you see all his expressions.
Yeah.
Like there's certain people that could pull out it. You know, a baseball cap, maybe not, you know, depending on what you're going for. That, because that's like you keep it low, you know.
Yeah, and Attell wears a hat, but I don't care what he wears. You know what I mean? He's such a.
It's just like
you've seen how many times I've seen him. Like every time he comes here, I try to see him.
I don't know, maybe 7 times.
Yeah, I think I'm only at 3. I saw him,
but I've seen him at the Cellar like a lot. Maybe more, maybe 10 times. I've seen him at the Cellar a lot. So like anytime I go to New York, I go to the Cellar at least once or twice. So like, and he's always on every fucking show. So I always go to the late shows because I like Big J Ogerson. He's always on those. So.
J.
He's one of my favorite comics.
You know how I found out about him because when I would go to LA to visit my grandma, rest in peace. But when I go over there, I'd go to visit family, and then my new vacation was I just drive to the store and I just sit at the store and watch all the comics from like 7 to 2 until Don Barris would come out.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah,
I watched that one night, dude.
I would do it. Don Barris would go. Did you hear the squirrel or whatever joke with the roadkill? He does at the end. It's some like nasty.
I don't
joke.
remember his set. He did the Don Barris band when I was there.
Oh, he did.
He brought out the band and shit. Yeah,
I saw. Yeah, he would do. Oh, he let me do a joke one time because I was by this. It was me and like 2 other people. Man, I saw Russell Peters drop in too and hit on some Afghani chicks and go into the dialects really quick.
He does everything.
But I remember I would just sit. That was my vacation. I go to the Comedy Store and watch there, or sometimes I go to the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, and that's where I saw Jay because he came up, and that's when I saw who's the guy who used to do the piano, the bear, and he got Owen Benjamin, right?
Okay, yeah. I've never seen him,
and he got super trolly. Yeah, I saw him, but I started following my Instagram from that. I was like, oh, I like him, and that's where I saw Dane there too, right? That's his home club.
I've never seen Dane.
You never seen Dane? Was it growing up? That was one of your.
Yeah, he's like definitely somebody I would want to see. I tried to like work my way into free tickets last time he was here at Chicago Theater, and I couldn't get him, and I was so upset. I wait to like somebody that's really close to them to do it too, and like, but yeah, it's always. I don't want to pay like fucking for now. Like, there's not many people I'd pay like $75 to go see. To me, like that's like way too much money to go see a comic. Like I'm glad that they can charge that much and fans will go see it. Like more power to them. But like for me, because I watch so much comedy live, and I worked in clubs. Like there's not many people that I would pay that for. You know?
No,
like,
I paid the most I paid was between $200 and $300.
I can't. No.
But it was for a girl. Really, like.
Who'd you go see?
I don't want to. I might say, let me, because if she listens, she'll know who it is. But basically,
that you wanted to know you fucking balled out on her. That's great.
This is years ago, and I'm friends with. Okay, fuck it. All right. Well,
you don't have to say.
I'm going to say
just say the comic.
I'm going to say the comic. But if she hears, she'll know. But basically, I lied to her, and I said that my boss. I mean, basically, I was talking to her, right, and then we were talking, and then I was like, I do this dumb thing where I get excited, and there's something. And she told me, "Oh, this is my favorite." She was a comic, so this is my favorite comedian, right? And I was like, "Okay." And I saw, when they were coming in town, I saw they're coming in a few months, but the tickets it's gonna be like $500 to $600. Like, no. And I told my friends, like, should I just buy the tickets? Like, I don't even know I'm gonna be talking to this girl in a few months. Should I do it? And all my friends said, absolutely not. So of course,
but you gotta do it.
Of course, of course, typical Giovanni.
It's called shooting your shot. I believe that's.
I shot my.
So who was it?
I'll get to it. I bought the tickets or whatever, and then the months came, and then we were kind of like not, whatever. And so then I remember I messaged other women to go with me, but nobody was available because I was like, hey, do you want to go see?
This is like the part you don't have to say on the podcast.
And I was like,
if she does listen, but if she does listen to it, she's gonna be like, "Oh, this is like, first of all, you lied to me, and then you gave me sloppy seconds and thirds to the person that I like the most." That would make it feel way worse.
Your favorite comic is in town. I got these free tickets from our boss because I didn't want to tell her, "Hey, my thirsty ass bots paid $500-$600 6 months ago to go fucking see Martin." Sorry, well, if she listens, she'll know.
Is that the United Center?
Chicago Theater.
Okay.
Chicago Theater. And
that's great though. He's somebody
cool.
that I'd want to see.
But at the end of the day, I enjoyed it. She enjoyed it. I'm friendly with her or whatever. And it was fun. But it was just like, I don't even know. How did I get into this? Oh, because you wanted to see.
But I mean, that's like, that's okay.
I've done this a lot, dude.
That's a lot.
I've done this a lot, dude. So it's not.
You're all in.
Yeah, I get all in real quick, right?
You suck at poker?
I probably do. I don't. The only time I played poker was when I used to caddy over there, Jewish Country Club. Shout out to Northmore. But yeah, we would caddy.
That sounded like your best life.
It was insane.
So much money, probably too, right?
Like
caddies make a lot of money.
I may have blew all my money my first summer, all of it, and then I saved $2,000 working weekends like in the fall. Yeah, as a 16-year-old.
You only did it once?
No, I've been caddying it for years.
You still do it?
I might go back. I gotta take a COVID test before I go, but because they called me, but I gotta whatchamacallit. I got a little rib injury. I think the ribs are good, dude. I think the ribs are good.
So you know that course like the back of your hand, though?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. How many courses do you know?
I do it a lot. Yeah. I'm in golf. That's my day job. I work at a golf supply company. Really? I sell golf equipment to golf courses. Again, I got off of here. I gotta put an order in.
I like all my friends golf, and I've never been golfing. I went like as a kid and drove the cart and shit, but I never been golfing. Like my fucking stepdad golfed always. Like all my friends still golf. I just never got into it.
What I forget. I'll go back to comedy in a second. But what's my friend asked me this. He was curious about this question. What's one? Have you had weird writer requests? What do you call it? People don't know what a writer is. No, like weird. You have any? No. You don't have any? What's his name? Who's the guy who wants? He has a bunch of kids.
He's white black. Sneakers like Eddie Griffin.
White's Eddie Griffin, right? Yeah, Eddie Griffin. He has to get two pairs of Airforce.
Your fucking ways of explaining people are so hard, dude. White sneakers could have been first. You knew it was there.
He was in that movie. I forgot the name. Not Hustle Man. Hustle Man's a crackhead I know from Zion, but it has that type of name.
Yeah, but like I mean, with people like him, like okay, it would be like go get you white sneakers. I don't know. I've never had like. To me, like I'm the opposite. Everybody that comes to the club, I try to surprise them with something that I know about them. So I'll try to get them a personalized gift. Like when Big J came, I got him a Wawa Philadelphia Eagles shirt. When Miss Pat came, we got her like this Michael Vick toy because she loves Michael Vick. Like I try to like anybody that comes to the club, I try to get him something personal. Like fucking.
If people don't know Miss Pat, she's from Indy, right?
Yeah.
Check her on the Joe Rogan podcast. She got shot by her.
Just listen to her. You should actually read her book. Read her book called.
Oh, Rabbit. She's a book.
Yeah, it's called Rabbit, dude.
Does she have a podcast?
That's great. Yeah, she has her own podcast.
Okay.
Yeah,
Miss Pat, check out her podcast. She was shot by her
she was on
husband and all kinds of shit.
She was on The Degenerates on Netflix too.
Okay.
You can watch her on that. She's great. But like, there's a ton of people that come through. So I try to do that. Like versus like if somebody has a writer, that's to me like my job is to make the best show possible for the comedians. And if they want me to fucking do whatever it takes, I want to make the best show possible because that's going to keep my business open. I want the comedian to feel I want them to feel comfortable when they're going on stage because by the time they get up there, if the whole show's fucking up and then they have to think about other shit while that's going on, that's going to fuck up the show. And I want to make it as smooth as possible because then the customers are going to love it and everything goes well. That's my philosophy. Like a lot of people are customer forward. My brain doesn't work like that. My brain is I'm comic forward.
Well, the comic's happy, the customers will be happy.
Exactly. And I know that if I treat the customers well, then the comics will be happy because they'll react better to their jokes. Like it's all, to me, I'm putting on the best show possible for the comic. That's how I think about it, and I always have.
Because before you started, that's where you got you. That's one of the reasons you started, right? You heard people bitching on podcasts
about fucking.
Oh yeah, because what was your first job? You were a doorman at the Laugh Factory, right? What were you doing at that time? Before that, is this after Kendall or?
Yeah, and I stopped in kitchens, and my buddy. He was like, "Hey, like I'm making a lot of money valeting." He's like, "If you want to get a valet job with me," and I was like, "Fuck it, let's go." So I started
a lot of cash, like caddying. Okay,
tons of cash, dude. Like I valeted in the West Loop, so I did all like the Girl and the Goat, the Little Goat, and then I would do like Hotel Lincoln. I would do like a bunch of like really great spots and ton of cash. So I knew I could take like a part-time job at the Laugh Factory. I knew I wanted to get into comedy, so I saw that was open. I actually didn't like the Laugh Factory. I'd been there for a Dom Irera show
because the ceilings.
Just I hated the sound.
Oh, okay.
I hated the sound there, and
big.
It's just it's never been clear to me. So like their speakers are literally it's my biggest pet peeve there, and I fucking would anytime I was there like working or fucking even just visiting. I went there for Curtis's wedding because Curtis had his wedding there. The guy there,
Curtis, manager of Laugh Factory,
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the sound was fucked up and I fixed it. Like that, like to me, like I'm so focused on the sound there all the time because that sound it's so touchy and it has to be fucking right and it changes all the time. Like depending on the amount of people you have in there, it's a lot. So I didn't like the club, but I was like, that's the only comedy club hiring right now. So I asked for the job and I have a background in security. So I was like, I can be a fucking door guy. And yeah, like 3 months into it I was just like, listen, like fucking anybody can do this job. I want to move up. And so then they made me.
Who was working there at the time?
It was Emily Keck.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew her.
I don't remember. No. Yeah.
When did you start stand up?
I think, what year are we in? 2020?
Yeah.
I think like 6 years ago. It's probably 6 years. I think, you know what? I think September or something of this year is I think it's my 6, maybe it's my 7 years. So 6 or 7 years ago or something like that.
So like 24. Yeah. So that's like when I started at the club.
Okay.
End of 2013. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so fucking, Keck was managing for a while and then she left and Curtis took over her position and then I became his right hand forever. And then we like at one point we're just equals like all the way up for like, I don't know, 4 years, something like that. Yeah.
And then when did you go to Zanies? You left?
I went there last August.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was one of the reasons you've been in Laugh Factory too much? You wanted to?
No, one, I got a divorce, so like I needed more income because like before I was splitting a place with somebody, so it's easier just to split everything, so it's easier to live with somebody, and then and they can like help you out if you can't, do whatever. So, and like at that point, I'd been at Laugh Factory for a long time, and I got offered the position at Zanies, and I needed health insurance. They had health insurance and like it was a little bit more money and it was worth it for me. So I took it. And I also knew that like where they were at and I thought I could help them and I could make the club great. And that's what I'm trying to do.
What are some of the things you wanted to change or started? Have you implemented some things or?
Yeah. I changed the whole seating layout. I didn't like how it was sat before. Like they used to have these tables that ran long that you'd kind of faced each other like banquet style. Yeah. And I think that's awful in every comedy club that I go to. I don't understand why you would not want your entire audience facing the stage at all times. It does not make sense to me. I don't get it. Like, I understand you're trying to like sell food and shit, but like people will eat. You just have to figure out the table. Like, It never made sense to me. Even like the improvs, a lot of the improvs do it where the first like few rows they do the banquet, and I think it's just because you can fit more people.
Mikey O does that too, I think. I remember I saw Felipe Esparza there, and I think they do that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, Joe's on weed. Yeah.
I went to Abby's
recording. Yeah, they had it like that.
But Joe's on Weed Street isn't a comedy club. And to me, like, if you have a comedy club, like, you should make it the best for the comic. And if everybody's facing the comic, it is the best way possible. You don't want any reason for them to look somewhere else, you know? And if their fucking neck's hurting or, like, they're just facing a certain way, it's hard to stand sideways the whole time or sit sideways the whole time. So I changed that. Just a lot of different things. It's been tough now because fucking COVID happened. So now here we are. But
that was one of my last shows. I went to see Mike. Is it Vecchione?
Vecchione, yeah.
Mike,
yeah.
And the reason I know about Mike Vecchione is he featured for Louis when I saw.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
You know what's crazy is that like fucking. So Bert asked me like a list of people that I want to book, and Mike Vecchione was on that list, and then the Louis thing happened, and like 3 weeks or 2 weeks before, they're like, yeah, they're bringing Mike Vecchione. So I was like, Bert, you're gonna get to watch him. So then he watched him and booked him. So that was great.
Oh, he Rosemont?
Yeah, because he was on my list. Like, and I give Bert a pretty big list, and he booked like quite a few of them, which has been cool. So
who booked Tim Dillon?
That's Bert from a long. He's been booking Tim Dillon for 5 years now.
Okay.
Holy shit.
He was Tim told me that Zanies was like one of the first clubs to ever headline him.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. I found out about Tim Dillon about a little. Like I knew about Tim Dillon. If people don't know Tim Dillon, listen to his podcast and watch Tim Dillon. He's maybe start. I'll give these 2 videos. There's the one where he's Meghan McCain, which that's the one where Rogan talked about. I remember he talked about him and I heard it, but I never looked it up. I just heard him talk about it. I was like, and I heard it play, and I was like, that sounds funny. The other one of my favorites is Tim Dillon making fun of Gary Vaynerchuk or Gary V. Right? That's one of.
I like the Jeffrey Epstein one, dude. Like that Jeffrey Epstein shit is so funny. He's dressed as the fucking that thing on the island, the house on the island, and then like at one point he's dressed like a little girl, and he's like dancing in front of her mansion, in front of Jeffrey Epstein's mansion, the one that the fucking Victoria's Secret person owned. It's obnoxious. You know, I've heard about Tim Dillon forever ago because he's on Legion of Skanks network. Like he's on that Gas Digital network, or he was.
And just keep hustling.
Oh, listen.
Guys, we're building businesses here.
Where do I meet you, man? Let's fucking do it.
And so you can say it or you can do it, but I highly recommend you do both.
I'll do it. I'll say it and I'll do it.
I used to work in a liquor store for 7 straight years, and the only days off I took were to watch the New York Jets. And you know what that did? It made me throw up on myself. So that wasn't a vacation.
My son is sick. Fuck yeah.
Hustle is the most important word ever.
What about the word jug?
Recognize that you can attack the world in a totally different way.
Oh! I should kill the president.
He's holding a knife.
I think they can see it. You can put it up for the.
Oh, it will for you.
Which the people
you should
here
be
that
watching this too. You should do both.
Fuck you. Stop crying
Dude,
just keep hustling.
The thing about Gary Vee is that fucking this dude he predicted 2 things that I'll say that I'm like, okay. The first one was he predicted that new text program that a lot of comics and people do, where you text and they give you a number and you can text with them.
Whitney does that, right?
Right.
Yeah,
a bunch of people do it. So like, and he was like the first person I had seen on that. Then he brought this up. I heard him on something like fucking a year ago. He brought up that baseball and trading cards are going to be the next big thing. Now look this up. This happened today or yesterday. Look up, just type in LeBron James trading card. This just happened. Now, this dude predicted this. Now, trading cards haven't been anything. Now, look at what this says. This is news. What does that say right there?
LeBron James trading card sold for $1.8 million.
Holy shit.
And I'm telling you, Gary Vee talked about this like a year ago because he said that kids, people that collected cards when they were younger, like are now dads and they're teaching their kids about collecting cards. So now card collecting's like way up. And this one's a 1.8 million. And so like, even if he did this himself and he bought this 1.8 million, he can change things like this and then just manipulate the fucking market on whatever it is. So even if he's just saying this and all his fans are listening to it and they're all people of that age that have kids that want to do this, he has that influence, which is fucking crazy.
It's almost like a Matrix type of
but 1.8 million for a fucking, and LeBron's like, oh, I got like 5 of those at my house. He fucking tweeted that today.
Dude, that's insane. Like, I remember I had a Chris Webber card I held on for years because it was worth like $10, and I was like,
"This is shit."
You know what I was saying? This didn't come to fruition. I held on to these teeny beanie babies for about 10 fucking years, dude. If people don't remember, teeny beanie babies were like, for 1 year they got super expensive, and now
they remember when the Tickle Me Elmo was super expensive.
The Tickle
Me Elmo was like the most expensive thing. Like they were selling them on eBay for like
Furby.
10 grand.
Tickle Me Elbow, Furby. I used to work at a toy store, and I used to work. There's a guy who used to work at the shipping at my job who he would buy whatever. He would buy massive amounts of whatever the hot toy was.
And
he would
keep it.
I'd walk into work. He's like, oh, you know, he would tell me about Furby. He's the one who told me about
Flipping
Furby.
it.
And he
That's
would
a hustle.
dude. He was Shane. He kind of looked like the baby. He looked like a 6-foot-something version of the baby from Family Guy. Shane. Shane Money was his name, right? Yeah, Shane Money.
Of course it was.
He was his name. That was his real name. Shane. And then on its side, he would sell beer, right? So he would sell beer. He'd be gone, take days off, and go to St. Louis and work Cardinals games and Cubs and Sox games.
Where's he at now? We need to find Shane Money.
I don't know, dude.
He's listening to Gary Vee.
I don't know. I don't know. But listen to Gary Vee. You were big on pushing comics to basically to be social media a presence, right? Because
you have to.
We're weirdos. Comics, I mean, like I'm better now, but
it's not even social media. It's just business. Like learn the business side because, like, dude, like right now, come on, like who is surviving? You know, you got to adapt with the times. I've been talking about Andrew Schultz for a long time. Like, he's making a lot of money right now in quarantine. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. So diversify. Like, do everything that you can do and fucking try to adapt with the times, you know, like look at what other people are doing that is successful and go for it.
Yeah, I was one of those stubborn people too. Like I remember Eric was like, you should start a podcast, Eric Pinnell, and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I just want to do stand up.
You have to though. Like you have to just do everything. It's kind of like you need exposure.
Or like Kel Gallen and the clips. Kel Gallen is doing the clips, is releasing his clips on YouTube, and he gets
everything.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of followers now. It's great.
What about? I've noticed there's a new social media that comics are using. I've seen this. Oh, okay, we're close to time. It is called OnlyFans, right? Have you?
Yeah.
Have you noticed during quarantine? There's a few comedians in Chicago.
To me, like
I've subscribed to.
I think OnlyFans is awesome because they are a smart business. They take like 20% of whatever you make, and it's fucking great. People can pay anything. Like it's what's the other one that's big? Patreon.
Backpage is gone. Patreon. Sorry.
Backpage.
I used to fuck hookers.
Patreon though, like it's anything that you can make some income on. Fuck it. Like, dude, I saw this girl. She posted her OnlyFans, and from like December till July, she made like $66K. Jesus. And so it's like, dude, like if you can make $66K from your bedroom, why not do it? I like whatever it takes. You guys, especially comedians, like you guys, it's not like if you really are going for it, you're just putting yourself out there anyway. If like, no matter, like Big J has one and he's putting out like separate clips of like whatever he does, fuck that. Like you can make, if you can make money on something, do it. Like,
James, who's that pink haired girl you share on the Hood Network?
Belle Delphine.
Belle Delphine. Like I looked her up after I saw you put her up.
She sold her bathwater and made like $200,000.
So this is like amazing. If you can figure this out, like why not? I think like, make your fucking money, man. Like there's not, if you can make money, make money. You don't know, you don't know what's going to happen, and you can make money. I mean, if you could make money doing it, you probably would. You know what I'm saying?
I can't.
You have a cocaine problem though, so that would help. You know,
not a problem.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay, it's not a problem. But
your friend, your guy that you know.
I'm trying to get back with my ex-girlfriend. Let's see. I sent her a big message. I had a female.
Maybe you should
friend.
buy her Martin tickets. I heard that works.
Before we leave, do you have any advice for comedians besides OnlyFans and buying them Martin tickets and trying to fuck?
That's the relationship stuff. I think just every time I say this is just study the business side. Like get up as much as you can, write as much as you can, read The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield.
That's a great book.
Stephen Pressfield has
I was a procrastinating ass dude before I read that book.
Yeah, just study the business side of it. Really look at whoever your favorite comedian is and watch their moves. Especially if they're successful, like watch what they do. It depends also what you want out of it. I'm not here to tell people like do whatever you want. If you want whatever comedy is to you, like believe your truth and fucking live how you want to live it. But if you want to be like successful, follow what the successful people are doing, and then try to create your own version of that and try to make a new version of it. Just keep creating. It's not just one side, especially now. Like, fuck, dude. Like,
and one thing, what should they not DM or say to you at a party when they're drunk and you're drinking and having a good time?
You can say anything to me at a party. Like,
but which way not to approach a book or a DM or anything you've been messaged and it's like, really, like, why would you send me that? Like,
no, I mean, like, honestly, I'm pretty open.
Okay.
Like, I think, like, I also understand that side of it. You don't know what to send, so like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, you shouldn't. Like, it's
okay.
Just say what you want to say. Like, if you have something to say to me, and like, I'll try to help. I get clips every fucking day. Like, it's obviously
how many
down.
emails and DMs do you get a day?
I don't get too many emails from comics. It's mostly like, because I'm very active on social media. So like a lot of comics will message me on social media, especially like Laugh Factory more than now. But like for a long time at Laugh Factory, I was doing, 1 to 2 clips a day and like giving reviews and like just telling people what I think they could do better. Stop saying I think I hear a lot and I just said so don't say anymore. That's a big thing with comics. Just be confident. But yeah.
Okay, and any plugs, shows coming? You guys are sanitizing. You kind of have limited social distancing shows.
Yeah, we're down to 40 people. We social distance. Everybody's 6 feet apart. Everything's disinfected. We had it personally or not professionally disinfected too. Like, and then we do a ton of cleaning on it. I maintain the cleaning throughout the shows. Everybody wears a face mask when they're up out of their seats. They get temperature checked at the door. It's a lot, and then any comedian that comes in, they have to go through a bunch of questionnaires with me, and any employee, like, they all go through a questionnaire with me that is pretty intense. Like, you have to answer a bunch of questions and get your temperature checked, and we're following every possible regulation that you can.
Okay. You want to plug any of the social media for Zanies or anything?
Yeah, it's at Zanies Chicago on all social media, and then Zanies.com, the Chicago Club.
Okay. And then Twitter, the Lobo Podcast. Like, subscribe. If you're a fan, let me know. DM me, and I'll send you stickers. I just got a new batch of stickers that came in. Ask me any questions. I want to do maybe a voicemail line or something. I'll figure it out. Do not add me on Snapchat, please. I'm trying to get back with my ex. Let's see what she said today, because yesterday she was like, I don't know if I want to do this or blah, blah, blah. But let's see. Make
a cameo, too.
Make a cameo. Make a cameo, and people send you money. I forgot about the cameo's another one. Right?
Yeah, they're great. Like, all these fucking avenues to make some money off of people is awesome.
And you guys are TikTok proponents, both of you. I remember.
Yes.
I'm
kind of different on it now.
Support the Chinese. Let's go, baby.
I'm Alex Jones on this motherfucker.
I heard somebody dissect where TikTok goes and everything that all the information.
So many permissions that it shouldn't have.
But also, hey, my sister's on TikTok. She's got like a pretty big following. Wait, time out. Let me look her name up. You can follow her on TikTok. She does.
People love my sister.
Hold on. Now I gotta find my TikTok. I never fucking use it. This is great podcasting when you have.
I'm just gonna find my sister real quick. She's. I gotta get her on the podcast. I think she's depressed right now. She's been at the house.
I think it's just Erica Rose or Hey Erica Rose on TikTok.
My sister's Evelyn Diaz, so hit her up. She's funny. All right, Brian. Thank you for having me on.
Having me.
Thank you for only limiting to 1 drink, and I'm not gonna wake up in Kenosha and find 3 prostitutes with ankle bracelets. Thank you.
Ankle bracelets.
It's
all in the same place.
It's complicated. All right.
That makes it easier for the fucking guy that has to go give them pee tests. And their PO is like, oh, I got to go to one place for 3 ankle bracelets.
She got caught shopping at Walmart. All right, Lobo Den.
Lobo Den, Lobo Den.